best entertainment on the earth. Tune in for Comics with Perch.
Hey everybody, this is Perch. It's hard to beat up on Jim Lee. You don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Jim Lee sold me a ton of comics, and his storytelling was dynamic and exciting. I mean, look, in the '90s, Jim Lee coming on to something was awesome, and you love those comics. You love to see what he was up to, and he's great. And so here in 2023, what you kind of want in your mind is that some of the new torchbearers, unfortunately Stan Lee having passed, and you're looking for those people who are going to really hold up the torch and be the big champions of comics. It's kind of cool if it's an artist. You want it to be an artist. Comics is a visual, medium, and we've gone from having the world of the editor writer, and it makes sense if it's now the artist. If Jim Lee is he's easily one of the key people. I mean, in a different universe, you'd want to see this kind of council of elders, for lack of a better word, of people coming up who are like the Hall of Fame legendary creators, John Byrne, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Rob Liefeld, or George Perez has passed, unfortunately, but you want to see kind of this pantheon of amazing artists being the people who are kind of bringing us to this next era of comics. That's what you want to see. That's what I want to see. So it's hard to beat up on Jim Lee, but Jim Lee is also kind of in his day job, the chief creative officer, head of DC Comics. And DC Comics, for better or worse, feels rudderless. There's definitely some good comics there. There's some good stories they're being put out. Several good creators, several friends who work at DC either as employees or as creators who are under contract with DC. I like DC. I like the characters. I like the universe. I like the rich history that the company has. I like it. And you don't want to see it mistreated or, languish. And that's a little bit what it feels like when you have, when you kind of pay attention to what Jim Lee's doing. And so again, you do this with a bad taste in your mouth. You definitely, you remember all the great comics and great moments and things that Jim Lee has done and contributed. And so you don't want to beat up on him. But then you get mails like this. It says, "Dear Perchingworth III, thank you. Why is Jim Lee using this Instagram post primarily to pimp Dan Didio's novel and rival line of comics rather than DC products? He's at comic book conventions, but talks about his lunch first, then Marvel, before he gets to anything DC related. And then it's the winners of a DC fandom competition, not anything related to a book folks should rush to the shops and buy. Of the 9 photos in this post, only one features a DC comic, and it's with crushing inevitability last year's Pride anthology. So that's a problem on multiple fronts. I think it's sad to be. So look, first off, the Pride anthologies. A lot of DC staff members are encouraged. It's one of the few times our marketing department kind of steps up and says, "Hey, we need you to post on this. We need you to put some effort out on this." And it's it'll be good PR for us. A lot of companies feel that way right now. They do Pride products, and they're like, this is going to be good for us in terms of good social media credit. And the problem is with everybody doing it, it loses a little bit of its luster. I think 5-6 years ago, when you're like, hey, we're standing up for Pride, it was unique and novel enough that it actually would get some recognition, some pickup. A marketing person could give you a solid argument that it would help. But in 2023, not anymore. Like everybody. My daughter we're at a Target, and they had M&M's was doing this. For every $1 that you spend on an M&M's product, we'll give $1 to a woman-run business. And my daughter's like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, and then they give me money. Like, no, that's not how it works. But she's like, what? Why is the money going to? And she's getting really loud and animated about this. I'm like, hey, shut up. You can't. Be careful. I'm looking around. Target, and they've got a little section there on Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, all these kind of different things in the shop. And it is sad to me. It's like a lot of these people who had these companies just had their products there on the shelf, you know, and next to other things, and they were doing well, and now we've made little segregated sections for where to sell their products. It doesn't feel like progress, but I don't know. What do I know? Whatever gets the stuff sold, I guess. Anyway, so for Jim Lee, look, the other problem though with the Pride stuff he's showing is it's last year's. It's also old. Like you have a new Pride issue coming out actually in June. You probably get your hands on the cover and stuff. I don't know. There's just the whole object of promoting and marketing and advertising, getting that stuff out there. It's sad. It's pathetically sad what all the companies are doing. Not just Jim Lee, but everybody. It's the most pathetic approach I think I've ever seen to how to hype and promote and advertise your book. It's amateur hour. And these are big corporations. It really can't be amateur hour. And again, if you love DC and you love these characters, you love Marvel or whatever it happens to be, if you love this stuff, it's not okay that it sucks this much. Just does not. But, to back to the premise, I think, again, I want good things for Jim Lee, and I want him to take this position as this incredible kind of father of comics. That's what you desire. That's what I desire from this legendary creator. And seeing some of this stuff is the opposite of that. And yeah, I mean, the subject to the mail was Jim Lee loves everything except DC. I'm going to wildly speculate here for a moment. But I think Jim Lee, he made his Wildstorm characters. Those were his. They were heavily influenced, clearly, by what he was doing at Marvel. His career kind of picked up and went big places in Marvel. I'm going to say Jim Lee's love is Marvel. I have no basis for this comment at all. All I know is, for a lot of people, kind of the comics you first started reading, first started paying attention to, all this kind of stuff, the comics that really kind of began your career, those are the ones that, no matter what happens to you, no matter where you go, in your heart of hearts, that's your original home. And I'm just going to speculate here for the moment that Jim Lee would show a lot more enthusiasm if he was head of Marvel. Maybe not. Maybe he's just, I may be wrong, and maybe just that type of personality. I think Jim Lee is somewhat of an introvert. I think he doesn't enjoy kind of a lot of the hype or marketing aspects of the job, like, say, Stan Lee did. I think that's definitely true. But I also think there's a certain part to him that just, he likes what he likes. And when I've seen Jim Lee talk about DC, it never comes off as authentic as I think you'd hope. It comes off as just like he's, I don't know how best to put it. It doesn't feel like his natural home. And maybe that's a problem. I don't know. But again, also, when you're being paid 7-8 figures, there is a certain amount of suck it up buttercup that you need to get to where if you can't figure it out, figure it out. Figure the F out and figure out how to come across as enthusiastic about your product. But it is aggravating where I've met tons of different shop owners, fans, people with no skin in the game, who are way more enthusiastic about DC, the characters, the storytelling potential, all the kind of stuff that could be done there, than the guy running the company. And I think it's a problem. And again, it's painful. It's painful to me to, say something negative against the guy because you love him. I love him. A lot of people do. You have amazing memories of all the stuff he's done. But, this is no good. So, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about my theory here? Is it half baked? Do you think this in his heart he would just be more comfortable if he was promoting the X-Men and Marvel stuff? I don't know. I just have that weird gut feeling. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening.